Oh boy, this is a doozy. This is a big one. This is definitely the national championship. This is the granddaddy when it comes to rumors and leaks so far in 2022, because NateThePate over there on the NateThePate podcast with MVG, fantastic people, my friends of course, have put out a brand new NateThePate podcast that you guys can all go watch right now, and I have a link to it in the description below. But I will be highlighting the things that I want to touch on here because it involves the sweet RPG goodness. We've got new rumors and information on Xenoblade Chronicles 3. We've got new information on 2 new Fire Emblem games. Plus we have more on Persona 6, and also Persona 4. What is going on with these games based off of these rumors, these leaks that are coming out here? So we're going to go ahead and get into all of it, and I'll definitely spend a bit more time when it comes to the topics that I do know more about. But let's go ahead and get into this here, guys. Before we do, what's up everyone, OJ here. Welcome back to the video. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, and click that notification bell to get my videos first and the latest breakdowns on all things Nintendo and RPG gaming. So let's go ahead and start off here with some Metroid Prime goodness. Now, according to Nate here, Metroid Prime, the remaster of the game, will be the second half of 2022, as it's the 20th anniversary since the original release on the GameCube, and can see Nintendo position as a headliner in the holiday season. Now we're moving on to the big thing here, guys. One of the big things, at least. There's a lot of big things, but this one's big right here. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 has been delayed internally, and that it can fall into 2023 due to the virus and technical issues. Now, the game still could release in 2022, as the game needs to sort out some sort of technical issues that it is having. Next up, Fire Emblem. We're going to talk about this here. So Fire Emblem is coming in 2022 from the Three Houses developers. That is a combination of Intelligent Systems and also Koei Tecmo, and it sounds very exciting with better graphics and mechanics. Now, here's another kicker here. Fire Emblem Genealogy of the Holy War remake will not come out in 2022 and is more likely 2023. Now, I'm going to go ahead and swoop back over to Xenoblade and Fire Emblem in just a bit. Let me get through all the different things here. Then we'll talk individually about certain stuff that I know more about, or that I think that I know more about. Now, he does mention a brand new DK game is in development, but can't get information on the game, like if it's 2D or 3D, or what the game is about, or other than it's in development. Now, next up is Resident Evil Revelations 3, or the Nintendo Switch Resident Evil game. He's unsure if it's in development due to how hard and difficult to get information on the project recently. So maybe it's there, maybe it's not. There's just nothing coming out in terms of the information. So maybe we see it later, maybe we don't. Next up, we have some Persona information. One really good and one that might make some of you Nintendo Switch fans upset. And that is Persona 4 Golden will make its way to the Nintendo Switch and also the PlayStation in 2022. However, Persona 6, which he says, quote, which I would anticipate that Persona 6 is announced as a PlayStation 5 exclusive, and he doesn't elaborate further there, so it sounds like it's going to be announced later at the Persona anniversary. However, I think later there was some clarification that it's going to be a PlayStation exclusive, so maybe there is a PS4 version and also a PS5 version of the game. One more little clip note here, guys. Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster is coming to Nintendo Switch in 2022, so he does say that. So those that are looking for that, very good on that front. So let's go ahead and let's double back. Let's just move back because we have some stuff that we have to talk about here. And we're going to start with Xenoblade. Xenoblade being delayed potentially or coming out later than expected. That is to be expected because of maybe what they're trying to do with this game. Now, what we understand, or what we know from this, that this might be the most technically impressive Nintendo Switch game out there, or one of the most technically impressive Nintendo Switch games out there. Now, if you go back to what they did with Xenoblade Chronicles on the Wii U, that game took a long time to come out, and that game was the Takahashi Team 1. That game was pushing the boundaries of what the Nintendo Wii U could do. That game had data packs. There was all sorts of stuff that you didn't see on the Wii U system, even with Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, which came out later, but stuff that you just didn't see other games do. It was unique to that game itself. They pushed the Wii U to its limits, and if you go back before that with Xenoblade Chronicles, they pushed the Wii to its limits. With that amount of RAM that that system has and the resources, open world games just weren't a thing on the Wii, and they got that done, and they also did that same type of innovation, but even then some, with Xenoblade Chronicles X on the Wii U. You had the online multiplayer, you just had so many aspects, and graphically speaking, it definitely looked better from a technical perspective, and what they're doing with the world definitely was above Xenoblade Chronicles 2 on the Nintendo Switch, although you can debate art style in terms of what looks better overall, and I guess in some cases, Xenoblade 2 might look better, but that was the Takahashi team won with those first 2 games. So I'm guessing because of the time and effort that it takes to make these type of games, Xenoblade 1 came out in 2010, Xenoblade Chronicles X, that came out in 2015. So that was a 5-year plus project on that one. And they spent a lot of time. Yeah, if you're going from that game and kind of moving to a new system and trying to get everything down, like that's going to take some time. So that's the reason why I believe that, yeah, there probably are some technical issues, whether that be frame rate or some of the stuff with the graphics. And they want to make sure that this is perfect when it does come out, because they had the same issues with Xenoblade Chronicles X on the Wii U. And I'm pretty sure they went through a lot of headaches when it comes to Xenoblade Chronicles on the Wii. So I could definitely see a Xenoblade Chronicles 3 taking a lot more time and maybe even delaying it to 2023 to make sure that they get that right, because Xenoblade Chronicles X got delayed a number of times as well to sort out those technical issues. So to me, that's not anything too crazy with that. Now, I do want to move over to Fire Emblem, because this right here, it gets my senses tingling. It gets me wanting to be excited. It gets me wanting to talk about Fire Emblem, because I do feel that this is correct. And the reason why I feel that this is correct is because the Fire Emblem team, Intelligent Systems, and whoever they work with usually work in years of 3. Fire Emblem Awakening 2013, Fire Emblem Fates 2016, Fire Emblem Three Houses 2019, and then there's also other things that they do. So they do remakes, they do mobile games, they do the Warriors games. There's all sorts of stuff. So they don't all do that Intelligent Systems, but other people with Nintendo obviously work to get all those different Fire Emblem stuff done. So when he says here that the Fire Emblem Three Houses developers, which is Intelligent Systems and Koei Tecmo, are working on the game to have better graphics and also better mechanics, that makes complete sense. They jump up things. Even if you look at it from the ghetto Nintendo 3DS with Fire Emblem Awakening to Fire Emblem Fates, Fire Emblem Awakening, they didn't have feet. Fire Emblem Fates, they got feet and they did improve the graphics. They did try when they could have just left it exactly the way it was when it comes to that system. So they did improve things quite a bit from that. Now, obviously, it's a big jump from 3DS to the Nintendo Switch, because remember, it was Wii, that was the last time there was a console Fire Emblem, and there's obviously new employees, blah, 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 all of that, right? Different team that's helping out. So you don't really have too much experience when it comes to developing on home consoles. And any modern home console, they skipped the Wii U. So I think things were a little bit rough for Fire Emblem Three Houses. I think that there was a lot of issues with the development of that game. I think they were trying to get everything situated with all the content and the 3 different routes and all the stuff that was happening. There was a lot. So I think that kind of took a hit when it comes to talk about the graphics. But now you have that engine. Now you have that experience. Now you can actually go and build off of a base. And they always include brand new elements into Fire Emblem games. They're never just the same thing from one to another. For the most part, yeah, there are some that kind of just say, okay, well, here we're going to do this, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, but they always include some really cool mechanics and different things. And with the better graphics and with the better mechanics, I can see Fire Emblem taking another big jump. And that is the most important thing, is that Fire Emblem takes that next jump. Can it get to that 4 million unit range? This will be the test, because now you have a 100 million unit plus selling system, and you have the clout that Fire Emblem's been building for the past 10 years plus or so with the games from the 3DS on the Nintendo Switch and everything. So right now, you got to deliver. You got to deliver with the graphics, you got to deliver with the mechanics, and remember, Nintendo considers this a major franchise. Now, when it comes to Fire Emblem Genealogy of the Holy War, that makes complete sense. Because like I've been talking about before, if you've been watching my videos with Fire Emblem, I've stated that Fire Emblem has been going in order, even dating all the way back to the DS when they were remaking those original Fire Emblem games. And when they remade another Fire Emblem game on the 3DS, what did they do? Did they jump up to the Game Boy Advance or to somewhere else that they could have? Nope, they went right in order and got Gaiden, a game that nobody was expecting them to make. And they went in order after doing the DS remix that they did have. So, wow. I mean, that just tells me that Genealogy, I think it's coming. I think they're going to do it. It's obviously a game that's not probably going to do as well as the main new Fire Emblem game, because none of the remakes do as well as the new game, as people have already played them and it's the old mechanics and stuff like that. There's various different reasons people do love the new Fire Emblem games. Those games sell more, so I can see this happening. Now, for those questioning why Nintendo would release 2 big Fire Emblem games back to back, well, they do that a lot when it comes down to it, right? Because if you go back to 2017 at the Fire Emblem Direct, they announced 3 Fire Emblem games that day. They announced Fire Emblem Heroes for mobile, Fire Emblem Echoes Shadows of Valentia for the Nintendo 3DS, which launched in May of that year, and then they also announced Fire Emblem for the Nintendo Switch and stated that it would be coming in 2018. So they were going to release an Echoes game first, then they were going to release a main game in 2018. Unfortunately, or fortunately, Fire Emblem 3 Houses got delayed to 2019, so they wanted to have those big Fire Emblem games back to back. So could they be working on Fire Emblem Echoes for the following year and Fire Emblem this year as the big game? Absolutely they could be, because they've done multiple releases of Fire Emblem in a year. And heck, even if you count that 2017 year, there was one more. You also had Fire Emblem Warriors, which did launch in 2017. So they had 3 Fire Emblem games in 2017 on mobile, 3DS, and also on the Nintendo Switch with the Warriors game and Koei Tecmo. So yeah, like, they are definitely in on Fire Emblem. And remember, it is a major franchise to Nintendo. It has got that classification where games like Xenoblade has not. Nintendo has a number of IP that don't have that classification, and Fire Emblem does. So Nintendo's always going to want to get multiple Fire Emblem projects off the ground. So I can definitely see Fire Emblem 2022, or the new Fire Emblem game, coming out this year and it blowing us away. And then also a Fire Emblem Echoes next year, kind of getting that extra sales and building off of whatever they have with that engine with the Fire Emblem 2022 game. So very interesting there as well. Now, last but definitely not least, we're going to move over to Persona. Whoa, this is interesting. And like I said, some of you guys might be really mad with something like this, but it's something that I think could have happened. I've talked about this before. I felt, from a business perspective, if Atlas isn't getting anything from Sony or from Microsoft or from Nintendo, they should definitely do multi-platform development. So we see here that Persona 4 Golden is coming to the Nintendo Switch. The rumor is that, and it's also coming to PlayStation. Now we know that Persona 4 Arena Ultimax is coming to the Nintendo Switch very soon here this year. We know that 13 Sentinels is coming from Atlas. We know that they've been porting over lots of stuff. So I would guess that this would be a centerpiece game for them, considering they sold 1 million copies on PC via Steam, and that is not the main platform where most people want to buy or want to play a Persona 4 Golden. They want to play it on PlayStation and on Nintendo Switch. So imagine how much they're going to sell on those systems, even if it's more of a premium price, which I think it will be. I think it'll be a minimum of at least $40 for a Switch or PlayStation version of the game, because they charged $50 for Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne HD Remaster on PlayStation, PC, and also Nintendo Switch, at least at launch. So I'm guessing it's going to be at least a minimum of 40, maybe even 50 for Persona 4 Golden on the consoles. So yeah, that's a big release for them, and I think that it's going to happen. And heck, even Sega somewhat maybe leaked it with their own webpage and what happened there, which I did cover it. Make sure you check out my videos on Persona 4 and what I've covered on there, because there's a lot of compelling evidence that Persona 4 Golden is coming to PlayStation and also to the Nintendo Switch. So I think that's obviously a great idea. There's still some rumors about Persona 3, but Nate does not talk about those here. But there are rumors about Persona 3 as well. So maybe we see that in some way, shape, or form on PlayStation and also on Nintendo Switch, because it's Atlas just losing money, I think, at this point, at them taking so long to do this, right? So at least they have big install bases to work with PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Nintendo Switch. I mean, you have a lot of people to sell the game to potentially, so at least they got that going for them. Now, next up is Persona 6 as a PlayStation exclusive, or he says PS5 exclusive, but I think later it clears up PlayStation exclusive, and he's anticipating that, and maybe we see something at the Persona anniversary. Sony did say not too long ago, I saw somebody say this, that Sony did say, which is a quote, which is real, that Persona is very important to them. There was a rumor that there's going to be more PlayStation like exclusive deals, more Japanese games that are going to be exclusive. So I would look at, if they're going to do something, it would be the biggest games. It would be the biggest Japanese games. It's not necessarily going to be like the Falcom stuff or other smaller things, Ease and stuff like that. It's going to be Persona, because that game sold very well on the PlayStation 4 in the US. It sold very well. So there is an audience for that type of game on PlayStation systems. So it does make sense to me, at least. Now, I wouldn't completely trust it without getting a bag from Sony. So if it was just their decision by themselves, I wouldn't trust that, because I don't think there's enough fans in order to do that, or you're leaving out too many with the Nintendo Switch. But if Sony is giving them a bag, like all the different rumors and leaks are kind of speculating that they could, then it makes absolute sense that Persona 6 will be an exclusive on the PlayStation brand if they're going to pay for it, if they're going to do that. Now, if they're not, then obviously that's a bad decision from Atlus, and they're going to pay for it once those sales numbers come out, because obviously in Japan right now, PlayStation 5 not doing so hot, even PlayStation 4 not doing so hot. People just aren't buying games on those systems as much as they are with Switch. Switch is dominating the top 30 charts, dominating the sales chart. They're outselling systems by a lot. Like, they're outselling the systems by so much at this point. So it obviously doesn't make sense in that respect. But once again, if they're going to pay for it, then they pay for it. But even if they don't, and that's what Atlus wants to do, then that's their decision. I am going to be buying Persona 6 no matter what. It could come out on a ColecoVision. It can come out on the Amigo, and I think I'd probably buy it on there too. Obviously, I'm joking with that, guys, but I would buy the game regardless. Just like I bought Persona 5, just like I bought Persona 4 on Steam, just like I bought Persona 4 back in the day on PS2 and on Vita, and like how I bought Persona 3. I always buy the Persona games. Whenever I can get them, I always buy them. And from the most recent ones up, I've been buying day one as soon as they release. So I'm going to buy it no matter what. But I do feel that, once again, there would have to be some type of deal with Sony, because if there isn't and it's not on Switch, then not so sure about that. However, we have to put in a little bit of an asterisk here, because there could be something here with this, because when is this game going to come out? Atlus always takes forever with this. When did they start development of Persona 6? It was definitely after Royal, which Royal was more of a 2020 type of game. So it was definitely after that. So we're in 2022 at this point. Is this game anywhere near even being done? Which Atlus does like to announce things way ahead of time, so maybe it could be. But I'm guessing that this is probably going to be in the Switch 2 era, because right now the PS5 install base is just too low to release a game like this. You need a big install base. You need a healthy one. Like when Persona 5 came out, it was about 4 years after the PlayStation 4 had released, so you had time to build up that install base. So to me, I think it's going to be very interesting. But once again, I'm excited about Persona, and if they're going to announce something, I'll be hyped for it. I'll buy it on whatever platform I can get it on. So yeah, but maybe it's a Switch 2 type of thing, or maybe it's just PlayStation. But once again, I'll buy it on whatever. I'm just giving you guys the rumors and the leaks and the information out there. So what are your thoughts on all this when it comes to everything that we talked about here? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this one here. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, and click that notification bell to get my videos first. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you for the next one. Peace.